Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we're talking to Low Phase. Check it out. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans with Bands, and I'm talking to Caleb, Miles, and John from Low Phase. How you guys doing?
Hey, Chuck.
Doing well.
Yeah, doing great.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for reaching out, because what I love about doing this podcast, I get to talk to some bands that I've known before, and I love their music, but I also get to discover new bands that are new to me. And
Yeah.
and your band is one of those, and it's one that I love. I've been listening to your music. I got to tell you, it's so good. I'm blown away that, I shouldn't say that, because it makes it sound like Michigan doesn't have any talent or anything, but you guys are really, really, really awesome. I mean, I was listening to, I got a little taste of the new song that I See You First,
Mhm.
or I Saw You First, and I'd listened to Reason, and then the EP that you had before. I think you had like two singles out, like what was it?
Yeah, yeah,
Better-
in between.
Better Clothes, and so I can't remember the other one, but
Yeah.
I've been listening to it and just loving it. Love the, um, from my point of view, it seems like you got a sound that is reminiscent of like Pavement and the Decemberists, and a
Yeah.
little bit of like Dinosaur Jr. in there, and maybe some Radiohead flipping around in there sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, very
Thank you.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like we get Pavement a good bit.
yeah.
Yep.
Trying to think who
Reason
else.
was Prince Daddy.
Oh, we got Prince Daddy and the Hyena before.
Oh, okay.
But no, that's high praise. Those are some of our favorite bands,
Very cool.
So that's super sweet. And I would say that's where we get the influence for the most part, is sitting back in that era. So
Yeah.
that would make sense
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
But thank you.
it's great music, and like I mentioned, I got to listen to I Saw You First, and I got to tell you guys, I think it's coming out June 6th, right? So
Yeah, it's Friday. Yep.
yeah, Friday. So I love that tune, dude. It's like just there's again that I was hearing some Radiohead kind of progressiveness, is particularly at the end of that song.
Yeah.
But you got this really cool arpeggio sequence in the beginning and the end. I was like, wow. It's sort of like, it doesn't really resolve. Like the song itself in the middle has like, you feel the resolution in there, but those endings you don't necessarily. And it creates this kind of weird tension, but it's really good. And there's like a sadness, but then an uplifting. Yeah, you guys did a fabulous job with that song.
Thank you. You're the first person we got to talk with about that song specifically. We haven't been we haven't had the chance to, really anybody who's heard it is in this room, or like our partners, or
Yeah.
maybe my parents heard it. It's cool to get like an outside perspective on that, because that song means a lot. We are considering it the first love song we ever wrote, but it's also a weird ending feeling. But yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, and I also love the song Reason that came out in May, I think, right?
Yeah.
Which is sort of like it basically switches gears. It's a kind of totally different song from the new one, but also really awesome. But give me the inspiration for the new song.
It's a love song. That's always been the hardest type of song, lyrically, to write. I would say with something more upbeat, it's easier to hide like intentions in that, and it's not as like in your face. But this is supposed to be kind of an in your face love song. I get married in September.
All right, congrats.
So it was like, thank you. Yeah. And this EP is kind of coming out on a whim. Like, we had just been compiling a bunch of songs. And we had decided that in August we're done playing shows, so we don't keep it. So with the wedding stuff, it doesn't get too crazy.
Yeah.
And then I think it was only a couple months ago that we were like, well, do we have time to like record and release all of these? And so we literally just booked as many dates as we could in the studio as quickly as we could. And some of the songs didn't have, like, we wrote parts in the studio, which a lot of bands do, but we usually have everything
Ready to go.
figured out.
Yeah.
So that was cool to like be a little more free in the studio and kind of collaborate a little more on these parts. But back to the question. I mean, it's just a love song. It's like it starts at the beginning of our relationship, kind of falls through how we met and how love is like obviously the most comforting feeling in the world, but it's also the scariest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
And we're just hoping it captures both of those, the sides of the spectrum there
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. I think you guys definitely have done that. And like I mentioned, just the arrangement of the music itself gives you some of that too, right? Because you've got that kind of tension in the beginning, and then that really grand, like progressive resolution. You know, it gives you the sense of discovery, but also I want to say like just there's a bit of the unknown, right? You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how that's going to play out, but you're hoping that for the best, right? So that's
Great.
really cool.
Yeah.
Really
Thank
cool.
you.
So how about Reason? I also love that tune. Again, it's different, totally different like sound. So
Yeah.
what were you going for there, and what was the inspiration behind that song?
I mean, so Caleb writes all the lyrics, he's the lyricist, but from my perspective, as somebody who really digs into the music, Miles and I are really on the music side. It does feel like a two sides, maybe three sides of the same coin between Reason and I Saw You First. I think there's a lot of similar inspiration there, just as a listener of the lyrics. I think it kind of is still attached to that story of Caleb, inspired by his soon-to-be wife, his fiance. But it's a lot more energetic, as you can hear, for sure, which is something we were going for with Reason.
Yeah. Let's say you got that right. It's like it's the fire at the beginning of the relationship. You know, it's the all those things you're questioning when you're starting to open up to another person and they're starting to open up to you. It's very, I mean, passion can be aggressive, and like that's what this song is supposed to reflect.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Awesome. Yeah.
So
I think I think you guys did a great job. It was so cool. And it's I think those two songs build off of where you guys have been in your older music, the singles that were released last year, the EP that came out before that. It definitely builds on that. It's not like you've radically changed your sound, but definitely progressed. I would say that those two tunes definitely show like progression as far as your writing and everything. It sounds really great. So I probably should rewind a little bit to talk about like how did Low Phase begin? How did you guys get together? How did the band start?
Yeah. So Love Phase itself was born out of COVID a little bit.
Yeah.
We were the three of us and Caleb's fiance were in a band before then, Political Lizard. And then that once COVID hit, that kind of transitioned into Low Phase. But the three of us have all been playing together since early high school. We had a band in high school that we played as, and then have been in bands since then. And this is just kind of like the last one that we're at now.
Yeah.
And like,
awesome.
Yeah, our favorite one.
Yeah. We've been having, it was like when COVID hit, like we were all stuck, obviously.
Yeah.
In our rooms, and we all wrote just a bunch. And so by the time that we were able to get out and see even each other again, we had like a stack of songs, which was super different than what we were doing at that time.
Oh, okay.
And we just like turned that into this project. And it's like Miles said, like this has definitely been the most, I feel like, true project that we've had. Like not any or much compromising going on. Like everybody's pretty much on the same page.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
But I would say, especially like with this EP, that feels to ring true still. Like this EP feels the most authentic, and like we are kind of settling into I guess our sound, or just like how we write best together, you know.
Right. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, really, you've only been together, I mean, this project, what, 5 years maybe, right? So,
5 years.
Yeah,
yeah.
5 years.
So you're just kind of getting to the point, because I always think of like um, bands that are gonna like either get bigger or like kind of establish themselves. It's about a 10-year journey. It seems like, you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get a few flash in the pans and like, oh, they came out of nowhere, and but really, you just found out about them. They've been like toiling away for years and years, right?
Yeah.
So
And
you
that's
guys,
so keep in mind. Like we
Yeah.
we have to remind ourselves that all the time.
well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you're young guys. Plus, you started when you were in high school, right?
Yeah.
And then started this project. So you know, honestly, uh, I think if people take that into consideration, your music's very sophisticated and good for, you know, just being, you know, a band of 5 years. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So how did each of you get into music? What was your, I know you've known each other for a while, but how did each of you like start your musical journeys?
My dad's a musician, so a little bit, I guess you could say, like born with it.
Yeah.
My parents have always told me, like when I was in a car seat in the car, I would like kick along the back seat to the beat.
Yeah.
They're like, he's gonna be a drummer, and then
That's true.
did like band all throughout like middle school, high school. Did some marching band. Always did like drumline and all that.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I just kind of like was raised with it.
Yeah.
Like
Where
just
so was your uh, mom or dad a drummer as well?
no, my dad, he was a singer-songwriter. He like plays guitar, he plays bass. He's who we record through as well.
Okay, cool.
He's playing at Sunday Studio up in Rockford.
Nice.
Definitely cool
Great
studio.
studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone's looking to record. Shout
That-
out my dad.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
Shout
cool.
out Joel.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
love Joel.
yeah.
It's a cool little town too.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grew up
Joel-
on his music and
Yeah.
yeah.
Joel's a huge part of this band.
Mhm.
Like he's been a mentor throughout every project, but like
To all of us.
yeah, to all of us.
That's cool. That's very cool.
I my brother played guitar. I started learning when I was 6. And my brother played guitar first and then quit. And then my parents, I can't remember if they just were sick of me, but they made me take guitar lessons, and I hated it. Like, I hated it so bad that I remember on purpose I broke my first guitar that was my brother's guitar.
Yeah.
They made me like, because I was like, I'm done with lessons. I'm not doing this shit. And they made me like work to, just do any other chores just twice as hard to fix the guitar. And then
Right.
they made lessons again. And it started through that. It really didn't like blossom until probably middle school or maybe late elementary. My brother would drive me to school every day, and he just had such like an eclectic taste in music that at first I hated. Like the first band he showed me was Bright Eyes.
Oh, okay.
As like a 5th grader, I was like, "What? This is dog." Like this guy, and now they're one of my favorite bands. But I have him to thank for like a lot of that. But then writing started like pretty much right after that, and then I kept trying to start bands in middle school, but like I had like this drive of like, this is what we're doing, this is what our life is now, and I didn't find anybody like that until like 9th grade or something when I met these guys.
Nice.
So
And where was that? Where did you guys meet? What?
Rockford High School.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We're all-
you guys
we're
are
all-
all from Rockford. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And so I got to ask you, Caleb, like, what did you hate about the guitar lessons?
I think, I was just like a very chaotic kid. I think it was because starting off, it was just like structure. Like I didn't like learning from a book. And my guitar teacher, who I had from when I was 6 years old till I was like 14 or something. He's still a very good friend of mine. But I just don't think I liked the structure.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like right, which I get because I'm a teacher now. I'm a guitar instructor
Oh,
now.
all right. All right.
But at the beginning, it doesn't feel like expression right off the bat sometimes.
Yeah.
If you don't think about it the right way, it just feels like put your head down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's what I didn't like about it. The third, that part sucked.
Oh yeah. I remember those days. So
Um,
John, how about you?
yeah, I had a somewhat similar story. So I took piano lessons when I was a young kid. My mom enrolled me in them. Didn't care for them that much. I think it was just the music. It was like classic piano pieces. And it was like I didn't really care till I got to play like Star Wars theme song or something. Like, all right, maybe this is cool.
Yeah.
The thing that really got me into it was my older sister gave me her old iPod when I was in fifth grade, and it was just full of really cool bands that I'd never heard of. And I would stay up way too late before school, just like listening to all these new bands that I hadn't heard before, like the Postal Service, Death Cab, a lot of Ben Gibbard stuff, Sufjan Stevens, Modest Mouse, like
Oh,
just
nice.
all these bands, and it was like a totally eclectic mix of music. And I would sit there in my bed in the dark at night listening to music and being like, this is so cool. Like I think I can do this. Um, and that led me to join band in sixth grade, and I did that with Miles up until I graduated, and learned how to play guitar after I met Caleb. Because I was like, he makes it look really easy, so I could try to do that. So I can kind of play guitar, but long story short, I ended up really liking the bass. Around COVID times was when I realized how much I enjoyed playing the bass.
Yeah.
So I switched from our old bands. I would kind of switch between guitar and keys, but I'm full-time bass now, and I really,
Cool.
really like it.
Nice. Well, shout out again to the I saw you first because there's a really cool bass line in there right after I
Yeah,
meet
there
you.
is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Super cool.
he like I mean, like you said, he played keys in a lot of the bands, and then in the one right before Love Phase, he played keys and guitar. And then there were a couple songs that like
I played bass
you
on.
played bass, and then we remember like during this project, he was like, or when we were talking about starting the Low Phase, you were like, I'm not playing keys or I'm playing bass, and we were like, hell yeah, man! It turns out he's fucking insane.
Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
bass. I love, programming synths, also one of my favorite things in the studio, but playing keyboard instruments live is not for me.
Yeah.
I respect anybody that can do that, but
Yeah.
I
So
like
you have no desire to be like Geddy Lee, with a Moog synthesizer going.
that would be so awesome. I don't think it's in the cards for me, but huge respect to anybody like Geddy Lee that can do that.
He's really John moves around a lot on stage. So like when he was playing keys, I remember like because he would usually stand like to the side or like right behind me in the old bands, and like turning around and watching him, he would just be jumping like because you gotta stay right there. He would be jumping as high as he could while also keeping his hands on the keys.
Yeah, definitely
Excellent.
keyboardist.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned I think it was your sister's iPod. So, for each of you, like, what were your influences early on, as far as either musicians or bands? And how has that changed? Is it still the same? And I'm going to guess that's not the case, but yeah, what were your influences early and what's influencing you today?
Yeah. Say early on, kind of similar, like oldest sibling, my sister Marley, super into Paramore, and I loved them. Like the drumming in that was always insane. Like their earlier albums, the drummer's crazy. Definitely like passed down from my dad, like Depeche Mode.
Okay, cool.
Man, who else? Like so many different like
Yeah.
80s like similar vibes, but
Yeah.
I'd say those are probably some of the bigger ones from early on. And now it's like a lot of the same. I'll go back and listen to a lot of that, but it's definitely more like indie rock, kind of along the vein of what we're doing.
Mhm.
Great Grandpa is a fantastic band that makes crazy
Yeah.
music that is so cool. And yeah, been getting more into influences that they have too, like Bright Eyes a lot more recently. But yeah, that's
Cool.
pretty much yeah.
Very cool.
Bright Eyes would be like my first big influence. I'd say Bright Eyes and the Mountain Goats were like the two bands that got me into bands.
Yeah.
Um, and I just kind of became obsessed with them for a really long time. And lyrically, I try to, I'm not very good at it, but I try to pull influence from them because they're just really great at like putting the listener in a situation that they're in.
Right.
But then it's developed. I bought my first Bowie CD from Vertigo, like probably in ninth or
Vert
10th grade.
Vertigo. That's such a
Vertigo,
great
shout out
store.
Vertigo.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's become one of my favorite songwriters. Smashing Pumpkins, I mean, Modest Mouse, but then it's developed into like kind of like he said, like we'll just share music between us
Right.
and like, introduce like Great Grandpa now is one of our favorites. Hop Along is probably one of my favorites right now. And I'm sure you'll say this, but Big Thief,
Oh.
Big Thief has been Adrian's been one of our favorite songwriters for the past long time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
people like it. Nowadays, I listen to a lot of contemporary stuff. Not exclusively though, but when I was growing up, my dad had a really good taste in music. He's a huge jazz fan. I grew up with Miles Davis going on in the car and Steely Dan playing all
Nice.
the time in the car,
Awesome.
stuff
Awesome.
like that.
Yeah.
Having Gen X parents too, so like a lot of 80s stuff, The Cure,
Yeah.
all that is what I really grew up with. And then yeah, I found my sister's iPod, and that really put me onto a whole mix of stuff. A lot of rock music, like Death Cab, but like electronic music actually was something that really raised me too.
Oh,
Um,
all right.
it's sometimes embarrassing to admit, but way back in the day, Owl City was like one of my biggest influences. And I still will go to bat for his first two records. I think they're fantastic. Easy in the best way.
Side project Port Blue.
Yeah, like ambient music was something I made in middle school and high school that I really liked.
Oh, cool.
One of
Awesome.
my coworkers today we were talking about guilty pleasures, and she said Owl City. And
Yeah,
I was like, oh, like John has taught me
'cause it's good.
that that's
Yeah.
not a guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
They're good.
his first two records are immaculate. They're really
Yeah.
good. But yeah,
Awesome.
that was where I'm at from. But it's always expanding. I really like the genre hop. Country is huge right now.
Yeah.
Like just in the alternative rock scene, there's a lot of rootsy stuff going around.
Slow pulp.
Yeah,
Slow pulp, yeah.
So we really enjoy that. Wednesday Slow Pulp, MJ Lenderman, stuff like that.
Awesome.
Big
Yeah.
country fan too, actually. I feel like that's also a newer one for me at least. Is like I mean my grandpa gave me a bunch of Johnny Cash records like 6-7 years ago, but I don't know. Glenn Campbell's.
Yeah. Well, Glenn Campbell's like a fantastic guitar player. I mean,
Yeah, Glenn Campbell's yeah, and there's what is it? Southern Nights? He has like a lick
Yeah.
that he plays. Yeah.
It's
I tried
it's
learning.
ridiculous because some of those songs you're like, oh, what it seems, sort of at the time it was popular music, right? It was pop
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
But yeah, you listen to his guitar, you listen to shit, damn it, blanking out right now. He was on Hee Haw, Roy Clark.
Yeah.
That guy blazes
Yeah.
on guitar,
Yep.
Yeah, there's some really great, tactical guitar players back in the day playing country, right?
Wow.
For sure.
And then when you mentioned Steely Dan, you can't beat the guitar playing on those albums. I'm telling you.
No, and it's a different guy every time. And it's
Yeah,
like,
that's what I know. Yeah. I remember watching the show. I can't remember if it was like one of those VH1s behind the music or whatever. It was something like that. But they had one of the guitar players talking about this lick, and I think it's like shoot. Might have been Reeling in the Years or one,
in the years.
yeah, it's got just a really killer like solo, and he's like, yeah, we were just in the studio, and he's like coming up with this, and then he said, oh yeah, no, try this, and it's like there it is, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, holy shit! And then I was thinking, well, how the hell is anybody gonna play that live, But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember hearing like I want to say they were recording Asia, and they're just every day there was a new guitar player in the studio, like trying to lay something down.
yeah,
And Megan would just be like, nope, nope, that's it.
right. So, as far as your guys' songwriting, what is that process like for you guys? I don't know you mentioned that Caleb's the lyricist, but as far as like putting it all together, does one of you come up with like a full structured song and bring it to the group and say, and then massage it from there? Or is it kind of a get together, jam, figure stuff out, put together riffs, and then suddenly a song appears?
We've done both, for sure. It's typically started off with I'll usually bring like a structure. Like I usually come with some ideas for most instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll just kind of change it from there. Like, because it's really hard. It's been the older I get, it's harder for me to write without at least having like some sort of idea where everything's going. At
Right.
least lyrically, it's hard for me to write.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
I'll put in a super simple drum track and then like the guitar, like the rhythm guitar part, and maybe some like floaty guitars over it, and then write one verse, and then I'll change that depending on like I'll come with an idea, and then we'll get to practice and change it like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But then we've also with this EP, we did one song that was just It's Killing You.
Yeah.
I think pretty sure we just started that. I mean, I had like that intro or something, but then the rest of it we just wrote like in our room behind us, like that day. And that's if we like that's what sucks about working full-time jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like if we had more time, like we talked about this over the past week of like we should get a cabin for like a week. And we should bring all the studio shit and we should write an album. Which I think would be so much fun to do. Like that's what we would like to do.
Yeah. Damn jobs get in the way. It's like,
Yeah,
what the
they
hell?
do. They suck. Oh my
It's
God.
it's kind of funny because I was just watching this program because that made me think of like a creative life where you're what you want to do sometimes doesn't necessarily translate into being able to pay the bills, right? So, not that I hope that one day that happens, but that is reality. A lot, I know for personally, the things that I do creatively would never pay the bills. I would not, I'd probably be living in a cardboard box if I tried to make money doing that. But, but what I was thinking of is that, is like back in the day, like some of those bands, like, like Led Zeppelin or whatever, would rent like this house and put all this, bring all the studio gear and do that. And it's like, oh man, why can't we have those things now,
Yeah. It's definitely tough. I mean, we've gotten pretty good at making it work. I mean, because we've been doing it for so long together. But like it is nice because we can do those things. Like if we give ourselves a 5 month, 6 month heads up, like
we can make it happen.
We're good at we are all dedicated enough that that we're good at making those dreams happen. We have a really good balance between the three of us with like who's doing work, like band work, that's not outside of writing, outside of
right, yeah, the kind of
work part of it.
Yeah.
We've gotten really good at like that balance, and like there's definitely been times where I'm just burnt out from work or whatever, and I'll text one of them and I'll be like, can you put this email together? Like I just sure.
Right.
And like it's nice to have that. So we've gotten really good at communicating over the years, and like I think if we wanted to do a cabin thing, which I do, I think we should do it.
Yeah.
We could do it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good project to have in there.
Yeah. Yep.
So when you did the recording, and what was the studio again? Your house
Planet
you did?
Sunday Studios.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that process like? Have you been recording there the whole time? So you were familiar with the
Yeah.
scenario.
Since
You mentioned, I think Caleb, you said that one of the tunes was sort of partially built in the studio. But when you go to the studio, you pretty much like just ready to rock and roll and and just nail it down, or do you try to experiment a little? And then kind of a second question is, do you think about when you're recording your ability to play it live? Because it's easy to get in the studio and go crazy, layer a bunch of crap on there, and then you can never reproduce it.
That's a good point. So I think when we go to the studio with a song, it's like probably 80% of the way there. Like we have a pretty good idea of how it's gonna sound coming out. But me in particular, I'm super guilty of like spontaneously being like, let's do this, let's try this, let's do this, let's run the
Which is good.
Yeah.
Like, I like
let's run the roads through the guitar pedals and see what happens. Stuff like that. But I think we all like that.
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And then as for playing it live, we've subscribed a little bit to the backing tracks game. Some songs more than others.
Yeah.
I think in this day and age, it's a bit more common to see that. So we'll have, especially the keys parts, if we think they're really important songs, we'll have those just on tracks in the back.
Right.
That's like, we like it. Some old heads not too into it. We've had people tell us like, I don't know about that, but like, I mean, we wrote it. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. You can go like you can cover your ears
Yeah.
if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like this EP was definitely more of a time crunch. So like I wish we had more time to just mess around with stuff like that. And these two, both of them are really good at trying that stuff out. I'm more like I'm a pretty, I don't want to say stressed out, but like somewhat organized person. So like I come into the studio with like every single track that we have to record, and then we will cross it off.
Right.
And like I've been guilty. I've gotten so much better at it, but I've been guilty of like the three of you like trying stuff out, and I'm like looking at the clock. And, like, we have, like, an hour and a half, and we have to get this whole fucking song done.
Right.
the third person being Joel, Miles'
Oh
dad.
Yeah.
Three of us like to get crazy.
Yeah. But if we get better at planning in the future, we can just take days like that.
Would you think that the time crunch actually forced you to like have some discipline so that you weren't, basically staying on task and being able to like kick it out without too much? I mean, experimentation is great, but then you're also trying to get something done, right?
Yeah.
And you can also get into that situation where you just like, oh, it's never good enough. And you got to say, no, it's good. It's awesome. We're moving on.
Yeah. We definitely, I think we all suffer from that pretty hard. So I think, in a way, like it was a good angle to have a bit of a time crunch because most of these songs were, I want to say all of them, but like maybe two were 1 day affairs. Like we did it all in 1 day.
Yeah.
Besides the mix, I think there were maybe two of them that spanned a little bit into the next day.
Yeah.
But like we probably would be sitting there for a long time perfecting everything instead of just getting it done. Which is why it's great that Caleb comes in and has the voice of reason sometimes with the list. Like, here's what we need to do.
Right.
Because that will at least get us to a spot where everyone's happy with it. And then if we have some extra time, we can run the roads through the guitar pedals. Like that's
Which we did do.
We did do that.
We did.
Yeah, so you did.
That's great.
It balanced out. So
Yeah.
So what are you hoping that people that are listening to the latest from your band, what are you hoping they'll take away from it? What do you want them to feel? What do you want them to experience?
I want them just to be able to see their reflection a little bit in some of this. Because most of these songs are, I mean, lyrically, they should be it's a pretty human experience, you know?
Yep.
So that's what at least I hope. Like, I know what those early Bright Eyes songs and Mountain Goat songs did for me is like, really be able to replicate a feeling in 4 minutes or whatever it is that like
Right.
I had felt for a long time. That's kind of my hope,
Yeah.
something like that.
I think like musically too,
Mhm.
hearing like the intricacies
Yeah,
within the music, because I think that's what I think that's why we like Hop Along, Great Grandpa's Great Grandpa so much, is that they write these great like hooks and like very like sing-alongable music,
Yeah.
but there's such intricate things happening in the music that's so cool, like
yeah,
whether it's like like drum patterns or like weird chords that are, I don't like. I hope that there's a little bit of that with the listeners for the
yeah.
CP too, like hearing the cool like small things within the
Right.
music, but then
Right.
still like appreciating the lyrics and like having a good time singing along and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Nice.
feel-
Yeah.
So are you guys thinking for the EP of doing a physical media, or you're just going to stream, or?
If we had the money,
Yeah.
if we had the money, that'd be cool.
that's really the only roadblock.
Mhm.
It's like we've done physical media for past bands,
Yeah.
and it's always hard because you do CDs and you like I would love to do tapes sometime if we ever had money, but like
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure we still have CDs from our bands sitting in
Yeah.
boxes somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It oh man, it's something we'd love to do, but like it
Yeah.
just financially, like I don't
Mhm.
think we can make it happen.
Maybe a limited release at some
That'd
point.
be fun.
Yeah.
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 I mean, we like most of the band or most of the money right now is just going like right back into the band. I mean, we experiment a lot with how we use the money we get from shows. So like
Mhm.
we rarely, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, we pay ourselves.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But the rest of that money usually goes towards, I mean, we book DIY tours, you know,
Yeah.
it goes towards that.
Merch.
Merch is really expensive.
Merch. Yeah. Yeah.
Music videos. Oh yeah, we're planning on doing a music video for every song on this EP.
Oh, cool.
But also like we've also been messing with advertising and like
Right.
how where do we fit in there? And so we've been trying to learn more about that. We've
Yeah.
been for that. So if we ever have the money, it would be fun to do tapes or it'd be fun to do vinyl or even CDs again. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's I think at the time of the release, probably no physical media, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule out like a future reissue or something, or
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess it's not a reissue if it wasn't issued in the first place, but
Right. Yeah. But
something
yeah.
like that, maybe in the future.
Yeah, some kind of physical thing. That would be cool. So you guys are in Rockford, obviously playing probably primarily in the west side of the state.
Yeah,
How do
primarily.
you feel the music scene is there in Grand Rapids?
I mean, yeah, I mean, Grand Rapids is great. Like this is what we grew up, obviously, in the scene. I
Mhm.
remember our first show, or our first show playing together, coming to Grand Rapids. We played at the Pyramid Scheme.
Yeah, it's a cool
Like,
place.
I was 14 at the time. You guys were maybe 15, 16 at the time. And it was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
Which it, like, it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even driving down the highway, like into the city,
Into the
like,
city,
Yeah.
like knowing that you're going to play a show, like, oh
Yeah.
so cool.
But there's like so many bands here have our hearts. Like
Yeah, we love it.
Babies, who's playing with us at our release show. I mean, all these.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, look at that.
Oh, awesome.
It's reverse for you maybe, but we got the
concert
Compliments, we got
nights.
Babies, we got Dovetail, fantastic groups, all out of Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, we love them. It's a good, I think, like the average Grand Rapidian, which I'm not even sure is the term, doesn't know how good we have it here. I think
Yeah, that's true.
we have some really, really powerhouse groups that are playing like every month in Grand Rapids. So
Yeah.
we're thankful to be where we are.
Yeah. I'm always blown away at how much music is over in, that side of the state, in Grand
Yeah.
Rapids particularly. Just like a ton of great bands and some really cool venues too.
Yeah, there's some great venues. And I mean, like, aside from the bands too, like there's a lot of people a lot of like promoters and venues here that believe in their bands,
Yeah.
like, which is a huge part of a scene. Like we've
Yeah.
had help, I mean, from a number of people, but specifically Nate Duro.
Yeah.
He's been a huge part of like how we learned to carry ourselves as a band or how to book our own tour,
Uh,
how to promote a show. Like he's had our back throughout I mean, up until now, we're working with him for this show and we don't plan on stopping ever working
Yeah.
with him.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, all around, we got great venues, we got great bands, great promoters, great people.
Awesome. Awesome.
Love it.
So, something fun that I like to do is to talk about like firsts. So, for each of you, what was the very first concert that you went to?
Oh, yeah, that's tough for me. Yeah, but man, the first one that I remember like wanting to go to and like being excited about like buying a ticket and going, I think was Vampire Weekend.
All right.
Yeah, like freshman year, I think it was. It was them and then Arcade Fire,
Excellent.
a couple shows
Which was
back
like
then.
when we kind of met.
Yeah, we saw each other at the show and we were like,
Yeah.
what? Oh.
Yeah, the Arcade Fire show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think the Arctic Monkeys and Black Keys were playing together.
Oh, cool.
I think that was probably the first. I mean, I think I must have gone to Kenny Chesney when my dad handle. Probably
Excellent.
around probably 7 or something. But what I remember was being like general admission on the floor in Manhandle for that show.
Nice.
And then the second one was Arcade Fire, where got to meet them. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Awesome.
Mine is the same Vampire Weekend show that Miles was
Oh,
at.
really?
We were in different parts it was at the Fillmore on the east side. We were in different parts of the venue, but we both knew each other would be there. That was my first show. I remember getting out of school like an hour early to be able to drive over there.
Yeah.
And feeling like the coolest person in the world that I got to leave school early to go to a show. Like, be a sucker.
Awesome. What was the very first like album that you bought? So CD or tape or
First one that we bought.
yeah.
Before.
So you actually not something that was given to you like a hand-me-down
Yeah.
from your parents or whatever, but something you like, I want to go get this and this is what you bought.
I think
And if it was Weird Al, it's totally cool. I've had that answer like many times.
that's a great answer.
That's a great
I think Ziggy Stardust was probably the first one I bought for myself.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that was probably it. I mean,
I want to say like physical CD
Yeah, yeah.
was Vampire Weekend again.
All right.
Modern Vampires of the City.
Yeah.
It was like all their albums had came out before I had gotten into them, and then the album was coming out around that time that we saw them. I think that might have been what they toured on.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like
that's a perk.
yeah.
At the time to see them. Damn.
Yeah, that's probably my answer too. But to make it less boring, if we count iTunes, I did buy 3 Day Grace's record 1X,
All right.
6th grade,
Yeah.
and I thought it was pretty cool for that one. Thanks to 3 Days Grace.
Nice. Nice. So if you guys could take Low Phase anywhere in the world to play a show, where would you like to go? And who would you like to have on the bill with you?
Oh shit. I would really like to play in Japan at some point. I think that'd be tons of fun.
Yeah.
Japan came to mind. Red Rocks came to
Red
mind.
Rocks.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I still
just
got to
love
get
the-
there. That's no lie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah. I'd love to go to London again.
Oh,
I've been there when I was young, not
Uh-huh.
for like, reasons, but just
Yeah.
another visit there would be super fun. Playing a
Yeah.
shop
Um,
with
yeah,
Who's on a bill?
it's like a
That's
three
hard.
bill.
yeah.
That's hard.
Would you have bill to spill on yours?
Maybe. I'd have to make a list of like 20 bands and
Yeah.
Yeah.
never wrote down.
Paramore would be
Paramore,
yeah,
got it.
Paramore would be sweet. Yeah.
Awesome.
Modest
Yeah.
Mouse bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a tough one because obviously it changes over time too. You might
Yeah.
want to, oh, I'm really into this band and they would be cool. But would you, and when you're booking shows, because this is something that I enjoy is when there's mixed genres. So you've got one style band and another. Would you want to do that, or would you like to kind of keep it cohesive and like so that the listeners are like, okay, I know what I'm getting, and it's going to be,
I mean,
flavors of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We booked plenty of shows that are, I mean, honestly, most of our shows are kind of like that.
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Like, even this EP release show, like, we have shoegaze, we have what would you call
It's like
Cosmonauts, like
glam rock.
glam
Yeah.
rock.
Awesome.
Like I mean, most of our this one and the other EP release show, I would say are that, like,
Yeah, we share bills with Kalamazoo's Headband Henny all the time. He's a great hip hop artist.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
fantastic.
nice.
Mhm.
But we try to, I don't think we make a point to try and homogenize the genres.
Yeah.
But a lot of times promoters do like to do that. So
Yeah.
Right.
So-
Yeah. They don't like to have it too shocking where someone's going in. It's like,
Right.
there's a death
Yeah.
metal band and then a country
Yeah.
band. Like, what?
Oh yeah. But when you're booking a DIY tour, it's like,
Yeah.
we get
It's
it.
yeah, it's like with this show too, the release show, like it's a like party. It's like a hometown party. So like,
yeah,
genres we're not too worried about. It's just like we're playing
Right.
with people that we love.
yeah.
So, do you guys, so think back to the very first time that you played together on stage, and then think of the most recent experience. What have you learned, and what have you experienced that's kind of changed how you approach a live show? So from early on to now.
I think the first thing that came to mind for me was don't settle for a bad like monitor mix, which is really yeah, when you're like
That's
first
true.
starting out, you really don't know how to ask for what you want.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's fine. I can't hear shit, but it's good.
Like you got to know what you're doing with that, and we've been playing long enough to know where is actually fine and where is like the show is gonna suck. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's
to be practical about it. That's what popped
Yeah,
into
that's
my
fair.
head.
that's a good one.
I would say like we've just gotten so good. Like I remember at least the first year of us playing, there's a lot of eyes darting around. Like, I mean, we weren't the cleanest,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of eyes darting around.
Like darting around to like check, are we at this break or
Yeah.
Oh,
are we
Just-
synced up or what?
Yeah. And sometimes disagreeing on where you are.
Yeah.
But
We got one
now,
more
like,
verse.
yeah. It's we've gotten so good at darting our eyes, but knowing exactly what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of times. So Miles, we use backing tracks. Miles has a Matt going,
Yeah.
and he has a hi-hat, and like there's the last show we just played. I literally in between singing just turned around and I just looked at you and turned back, and you knew like I couldn't hear that fucking hi-hat.
Oh yeah.
And you were like playing it the whole time.
Yeah.
Or like there's a lot of comfort in playing with each other now just because we've been like if someone's having an off night, or sometimes if you're not feeling good,
Right.
like you can tell the other person, like you can just look at them. Like if I get nervous, which happens pretty often, I will turn around and just stare at Miles when I'm not singing.
Yeah.
And he's just he knows, he's like hyping you up. He's like, it's all good. But
I think like a small like technical thing is like early on, like when you're playing shows and you mess up, you do like the
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But like definitely have like learned over the years, like no, you play it cool, like you like don't make a face, you keep
Right.
going.
Yeah.
Right.
Very
Yeah.
likely no one heard, but as soon as you make a reaction, people are watching, then like they're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, but,
Yeah.
yeah, very
That is a hard thing to do, actually.
so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
it's like
Training.
it's just immediate, like right? So you're like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
god
yeah,
damn it,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
We have
Oh,
to
man.
better with that.
yeah. Mhm.
Oh, crazy. So what do you guys got planned for so this will come out in 2 weeks. So so I know you've got the new song coming out on the 6th, but looking forward, what's in the works for Low Phase? With the knowing that you're getting married, so that things are
Yeah.
going on hiatus for a little bit,
Yeah.
during that time.
I mean, so this summer is still more packed than we thought it was going to be. We're very lucky to be at a point in our career where like we get offered a lot of shows at this point, which is cool. So like
Yeah.
there is less like having to seek out every weekend. But that's how it feels like we have right now. We're doing Motor City Pride this weekend, and then we're playing at 4-Star Theater in GR, and then we play we have the EP release, but the very last show that we play is August 3rd. We're playing Dearborn Homecoming Festival with
Oh.
Die Blind.
Yeah.
And so that's gonna be like the last one. And then we'll take like 2.5 months or 2 months or something
Yeah.
off.
And that'll just be from like live shows. We'll still like be
Yeah.
active on social media.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Not just disappearing.
Yeah,
Writing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
But I know that at least, usually in the winter, we write a good bit.
Yeah.
But we still play shows throughout the winter. But I know that at least what I want to do is I want to hit Chicago a lot more next year.
Yeah.
We have a good amount of listeners there, and we've only played it twice, maybe 3 times.
Yeah. And
So
from
I like
where
to
you
keep
guys
it
are,
on.
that's not a terrible drive, right? I
Oh, it's
Oh,
not bad
yeah.
at all.
Chicago
Yeah.
sucks, but I mean, well,
Their
their traffic sucks.
sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, really, fuck Chicago, but
Yeah.
Michigan's better. But it's not a terrible drive, really, for you guys.
No, it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
2.5 hours, 3 maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I just like to tour more, like
Yeah.
a lot more, which we're capable of doing now. It's been a hectic year, like
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, and like you said, you got the day jobs and things you gotta like work around that kind of crap. So
Yeah.
it makes it a challenge. But
Yeah.
I believe in you guys, so you can do this.
Thank you.
It's all good.
You guys got any
Um,
ideas what you want to do next? Oh yeah,
Yeah, we got one more single before the EP as well.
Oh, okay.
So be on the lookout for that.
Excellent.
Yeah, EP coming out. I think it's the day before the show.
Okay.
July 11th.
July 11th. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure to put all that in the show notes so that we have
Cool.
dates and that
Thank
kind
you.
of stuff.
Yeah,
So that'll all be there. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being on Fans of Bands. I've got one last question for each of you, and that is pineapple or no pineapple on pizza?
So yeah, I've rehearsed this question a million times. They can think about it. I think it's good. I personally wouldn't order it because I don't like it that much. But if somebody got pizza and the only option was pizza with pineapple, I would happily eat it. But
Yeah.
I don't love it enough to order it.
Yeah.
myself.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No hate.
I would probably, honestly, I think when I was younger, it was fun. I hate it. I thought it was fun just to piss people who liked pineapple on their pizza off.
Right.
But I'm in the same boat. Like I'm not gonna order it
Yeah.
because what I like to do personally is I'm a big sauce person.
Yeah.
And I can't speak to this because I haven't tried it, but I love dipping a big slice of pizza into like some shitty like spicy ranch. And I've never tried that with pineapple, and I'm not willing to sacrifice the full pizza to try it.
Good answer.
same vein.
Yeah. All right.
Not for me.
Yeah.
My partner loves it. We'll get
Yeah.
a half and half pizza. We'll compromise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
would
I'll,
maybe
I'm with
scarf
you.
down twice if it was the only thing. But
Yeah.
Yeah. You?
I'm with you guys in that well, I'm a little bit more hardline as far as the pineapple. I think it just shouldn't be on pizza because
Yeah.
it's just wrong. I'm not going to judge somebody and like think they're an asshole for doing it, but
yeah,
you know, it's totally fine. Like you said, you know, whatever you want, but I definitely won't be ordering it like that because
yeah.
like you, Caleb, I'm about like the sauce and like I almost think barbecue pizza sucks too because like why
Oh,
are you putting
shit.
fucking
I'm
barbecue?
with
You feel that way too?
I'm with you. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Caleb,
I didn't know that.
Barbecue
Damn.
base? No.
yeah.
They just said right before this interview how much they love barbecue based pizza. They're lying to you.
Oh man. Oh, crazy. Well, guys, you know, again, thanks for reaching out. Love the music. Looking forward to the full EP and experiencing all that. And hopefully I'll be able to catch a show sometime. If you're
Please.
around
Let
this
us know,
area,
yeah.
I'll try to get out there and check it out because yeah, like I said, sounds fantastic, and I am thankful you guys are on. So thanks again.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having
Thank
us.
you so much.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
so much fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care.
Yeah.
See you.
All right. See ya. Many thanks to Caleb, Miles, and John from Low Phase for joining me on this episode of Fans with Bands. I'm so glad they reached out as I've discovered a great new band and I got a chance to talk with them. Their new single, I Saw You First, is out now and it is fantastic. Be sure to catch them live as this is a talented band destined for great things. See the show notes for all the details and links. Bands are nothing without you, the fans. Purchasing music and merchandise is critical to their survival. If you can help out your favorite bands, please do. If you're in Michigan, consider following the Playing in Detroit Area Tonight and SE for Southeast Michigan Music Facebook pages. They are fantastic places for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family, telling your priest, tell everyone, and leave a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jams.